Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and it looks like I've missed a lot whilst I was away at Warhammer Fest. A bunch of really awesome mods have been dropping on the workshop, so it's time that we start talking about them, with today's one being Katav's High Elf Sea Patrol. If you guys are not aware, there was a Sea Patrol army back in the days of 6th edition. This was during the Storm of Chaos, and it was really fun. Well, you know, 6th edition Warhammer Fantasy was clearly the best, and yeah, this is going to bring you a unique type of playstyle with the High Elves, just to have a little bit of fun and try something different. So, let's talk about the faction and Lord effects. When it comes to the faction effects, attrition minus 33%, casualties suffered from high seas attrition. Leadership plus 5 when fighting at sea. Again, remember, all this is for a faction-wide thing. Double experience gain for units when fighting at sea. Lord and Hero recruit rank plus 3 for Lord of Shadows and Heaven spellcasters. There is quite a tough one here with charge bonus minus 80% for siege battles. Yeah, this means that you're going to be hitting a lot less. Though mind you, you do have access to a lot of range units, so you probably won't need to charge as often. When we go into the Lord effects, we have the following. Campaign movement range plus 10%, ambush success chance plus 10% for Lord's army, leadership plus 5 for Lord's army, and finally immune to high seas, reef, and storm attrition for Lord's army, meaning that you can travel around the Warhammer Fantasy oceans if you so wish, hunt down those pirate factions, and get quite a lot of experience from that too. Now, your faction will begin in Kofik, meaning that yes, you are in the donut of Ulf-1, but you are able to move around as possible. Obviously, you've got some threats with the Dark Elves and Nekari there, but after which you can decide, well, I want to go up north, I want to deal with Be'lakor, I want to deal with anyone else. And you do start off with a full region with both seas under your control, meaning that you already get those bonuses. You might want to protect it though, because keep in mind Morathi does generally push into Ulf-1. So Aisling, as you can imagine, is a legendary lord, so that means that you're going to have access to quite a lot of buffs within your own unique skill line. The stuff which is going to decrease the upkeep costs for a bunch of units, or, you know, increase the money that you're getting from ports faction-wide. Obviously very useful as a seafaring character, and also, you know, you're a high elf, you're very much a seafaring nation anyway, you're going to get access to quite a lot there. There are just so many different buffs that are going to be able to make your troops a lot stronger, as you do have a bunch of unique troops, which might not be the best. I'll be very honest with you, they're not really the best out there, but they're definitely going to get a lot tastier once you get them some upgrades up and running. You'll also have access to 2 different mounts. One of them is unlocked the most natural way, you know, just leveling up. The other is unlocked by just going through your unique skill line, which is kind of like a nice system, especially since, yeah, it's kind of unique, right? And Sea Lord Aisling, among some other characters that we'll talk about a bit later, also have access to shipbuilding, which means that yes, they're pseudo-hordes, and that's kind of cool as it makes sense for a faction. The Sea Patrol themselves are known to be very mobile. It means that all those new units you can see are acquired through here. You'll be able to just tailor your buildings to exactly what you need. Obviously, you get some unique stuff because this is a legendary lord, but I really like this as it allows you to be as mobile as possible. Again, this is a faction that I've been pretty much hunting down pirates with and just fighting in the ocean, sniping out Be'lakor as he's trying to make his way into, say, for example, Bretonnia, or even the Norskins, being that good guy faction, just taking out everything that is causing the problems in the oceans. You also have another lord option known as the Sea Helm, which originally was a hero during the Storm of Chaos, but kind of makes sense to bring it into the lord here. And yeah, at the beginning, it's no point recruiting one with the Nort born for this trait, because he's just not going to grow in terms of actually getting the arc up and running, but the other stuff is perfectly fine. You just need, what, 40 influence and you're fine? So yeah, this is a pretty cool character, mostly because it's a range unit, but it's also quite good at melee. It's also got access to shipbuilding too, so you're going to be able to have a moving horde around, which this is a mechanic that really does need to be used a lot more often by CA. I think it's a really good mechanic, and it does not get used as much as it should. For example, this, if we ever get this character officially, yeah, it would be perfect here. Or Lokia Felheart. It's something that would just make a lot of sense. So this mod is also going to add in a bunch of units too. So you've got the Sea Company here, which is a hybrid unit. You've got a lot of hybrids with this mod, which this one is bows and sword and shield. Again, They're not really great in terms of stats, but for a starter unit, they're absolutely tremendously good. So it's something that you're going to be fielding a lot at the very beginning of your campaign, and you're going to notice that they're going to be able to hold their own for, yeah, most of the time. Early on, these are going to be an invaluable resource when you're dealing with Nakari. Then when you start moving on, we do have access to the Sea Helm Marines, and these ones are much, much better. As you can tell here, you know, a lot better armor. They'll actually become a frontline unit for you, and trust me, very, very good. Again, another hybrid unit, very, very powerful, good range, good attack stats. In general, it can just do a lot of damage, and that's what you need, especially as you start dealing with a lot of Dark Elves, which will be a major problem for you. Lorphan Sea Rangers will be a nice little hybrid unit that can also Vanguard. Very good with getting the bows out. Yeah, they're not going to be as defensive, no shields on them, but they can move around fairly quickly. They're able to do quite a lot of damage in melee. Again, yeah, hybrid units. This is going to be an interesting way for you to do it by just having loads of hybrid units and a lot of arrows flying, because 160 range is nothing really to sniff at. And yeah, I really do notice their value. The fact that they can Vanguard too, if you can get a decent map, you can get some pretty good positioning there. This is the great thing when you start looking towards just how much you can tailor your armies, and there's further additions to that with the Lotha and Swift Feather Riders. So these are extremely fast, 110 range is nothing to sniff at. Obviously Giant Eagle, so you can do a decent damage on melee, but you can also just get around the enemy, you know, pick anything with range. They can fire whilst moving too, so you can get a lot of damage out there. I'm a very big fan of these. I honestly think that these are a great unit. 110 speed, again, is just absolutely amazing. Lothan Skycutters is a unit that we're really just waiting for officially to come into Total War Warhammer. They're extremely rare in tabletop too. Like, if you want to buy one, you're going to have to pay no less than £100, and sometimes it's a lot more. But yeah, there's a reason for that. It's a moving bolt thrower. You've got some archers on top too, but the fact is, a fast moving bolt thrower, which can also do some decent damage in melee because it's also a chariot. Yeah, it's freaking great. It is one of my favorite units in the High Elf roster on the tabletop, and it's so good to see it here. It definitely makes sense because obviously that's something that you can imagine with a Sea Patrol. It's great. It's honestly great. I absolutely adore this, and it is one of those units that I've been using a lot whilst playing with this mod. And the last creature is the Merworm, which, as you can imagine, is a big boy. And the fact is that the Merworm is something that we all kind of expected eventually. It's kind of weird that we never got it, considering that there is a Merworm in game with Aminar. But I guess it's something that they might be holding back from, or it's just how they coded Aminar that it just wouldn't work as a unit, which kind of makes sense, because he's supposed to be absolutely gigantic. But yeah, this is one of those rare units from the tabletop where if you saw that, you'd think, wow, this guy has way too much money than sense. And yes, I do have one myself. But it is cool. It is absolutely cool. And let's be honest, the High Elves are in desperate need of a big beastie. So I want to talk about my experience with the mod. Obviously, I've not been feeling 100% lately, so I'm not playing my best. But this was a fun faction to play. It definitely is something very different. Hybrid factions are cool. You're able to deal with a lot of factions. You're able to do a lot of damage, but keep in mind that you will struggle against heavily armored factions, as you don't really have a lot of armor piercing. That being said, even though there's not any unique mechanics and stuff, this is a great breath of fresh air for the High Elves if you want something different, but still kind of similar to what you're already used to. It's subtle, and I think it's really good. Then again, you know, this is Kataf, and Kataf is known for very good mods. This is definitely something that you want to play around with if you've already had that hit of Chaos Dwarfs and you're already a little bit bored of the faction, because I know a lot of people were hitting the Chaos Dwarfs quite hard. If you want something new, definitely this is something that you're going to want to play yourself. So here I was fighting against some Norskins, and I must admit that I had to sweat a little bit. This was quite a tough fight. Probably didn't have the best loadout, but yeah, I was suffering a little bit. I've been dealing with a bit of a flu since Warhammerfest. But yeah, I'm going to let the rest of the battle play out. If you like the mod and you want to check it out for yourself, it can be found in the description below. And let me know what you guys think about the mod in the comments below. Let's start a bit of a discussion. It's great to be back. It feels good to finally be covering some content again after a small little break. But I'll see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.
As you say, Asa, move! For the Ever Queen! For the King! We will obey! Without fail. Orders received. It shall be done. Serve the King! We go! Asa, move! Apace! Moving out! Quickly now! Asa, advance! Silver helms! Take Acknowledge. Orion! Northern Seagull. As you say, for all ground. Dauntless. As you say. It shall be done. As you say. Draw back. Acknowledge. It shall be done. For order! Noble! Destruction awaits! King and country! Draw back! Understood! March! Yes! We will obey! Pull back! Silver helms! Lothern Seaguard! For duty! Your affair! Noble! Understood! Acknowledged! To the fray! Northern Seaguard! Onward! Assa forward! Slay them, Silver Helms! For order! Lothern Seaguard! Everything must without fail! Ancestors! To the fray! For the king! For duty! Death to